These are the stories making news.
I'm Maria Kina.
Since this is the first time I've heard about it.
How is this possibly the first time you've heard about it since I've written to you?
A contentious hearing between Senator Josh Hawley and the Postmaster General.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. The special school district banning 2 crisis interventions after the feds accuse the district of endangering children with disabilities. We'll find out more next hour.
A registration portal that multiple school districts in our region use to register students has been down for days. We'll get more from Megan Lynch.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Another comfortable day today. Sunshine mixing with some high clouds. Our high temperature 81.
Good weather for the Cardinals at 4:15. They won yesterday.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Another night of attacks by the U.S. military on Iranian targets. The 12th straight night. Houthi rebels attacking Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. ABC's Karen Waz in Washington.
Now, President Trump's stark new threat. Every time Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait, the U.S. will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including in the capital, Tehran. Iran's foreign minister firing back. Our defense doctrine is clear. Eye for an eye, and vowing a powerful and decisive response.
The EU has just hit Google with $1 billion fine for breaking antitrust rules over the way it runs both its search engine and the Google Play Store. Floodwaters racing through parts of West Virginia. Several people are still unaccounted for, and rescue teams are still searching for them. Tropical storm Bertha in the Gulf Coast right now, south of the Louisiana coast, running west toward Texas, is expected to close in this afternoon. This is ABC News. The cyclosporiasis outbreak continuing to make thousands of people ill. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Cases of that parasitic stomach illness skyrocketing to record levels. More than 11,000 people have been sickened in 41 states. The FDA has linked 1,600 cases to lettuce supplied to Taco Bell in 5 states. Officials say the likely source of that cyclosporiasis outbreak is Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce from a farm in Mexico. All the companies potentially affected have removed the lettuce from their supply.
House Judiciary Committee Chair Republican Jim Jordan recommending criminal charges against former special counsel Jack Smith, who investigated President Trump's false claims about the 2020 election and his handling of the hundreds of classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Google, Alphabet's parent company, the company behind Google and YouTube, posting earnings of over $112 billion in its latest quarter. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and we have mostly sunny skies, just a few clouds in downtown St. Louis. Nice little breeze. It's 64 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
It is an absolute disgrace.
Let the record reflect that I was laughing when you said we've been given everything we've asked for.
You have been given an opportunity to deliver the mail, and you're here laughing about it.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley excoriating Postmaster General David Steiner after Steiner told the senior senator he didn't know anything about thousands of pieces of mail found in a pile 3 months ago.
For months and months, KMOX has been reporting on how the mail is not being delivered. Hawley said he was told there would be a full investigation into how that undelivered mail ended up in North County.
I've heard nothing. What's the answer?
My answer would be, when you put up that in front of me, I'm outraged.
What have you done about
and
it?
I think everybody in the Postal Service that bleeds postal blue would be outraged.
Well, but what have you done about it? That was months ago. What have you done since then?
Since this is the first time I've heard about it.
How is this possibly the first time you've heard about it since I've written to you? Members of the delegation have written to you. Listen, I get thousands of pieces of mail a week about the post office.
Senator Hawley asked Postmaster General David Steiner what is going on in the Postal Service, and he adds targets for delivering mail is happening only 76% of the time. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Special school district is banning 2 crisis interventions after the feds accused the district of endangering children with disabilities. The Post-Dispatch reports Superintendent Michael Macklin announcing they will immediately stop secluding students and holding them down flat on their backs.
A Justice Department report in February found SSD used those methods thousands of times over 2 years, frequently for minor misbehavior in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The DOJ had threatened to sue if the district didn't change course.
If your school district uses an online portal called Skyward for registration, you may still be waiting to register for the new school year.
School districts in our region have been dealing with Skyward system outages over the last week, right at the point when student registration is kicking into high gear. In a statement sent to KMOX News, Skyward says it's related to system upgrades. It was part of planned maintenance, but some unexpected issues have required more testing. Skyward adds the outage was not triggered by any cyber attack or security incidents. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
For weeks, University City officials told residents that problems with online services were just server issues. Now they're admitting it was a cyber attack. According to the Post-Dispatch, the attack affected all credit and debit card payments to the city for things like parking tickets and trash collection. But the city says it didn't find any evidence that residents' personal information was accessed.
Missouri's Attorney General is suing Kansas City for contracting based on sex and race. Catherine Hanaway says Kansas City has a percentage-based quota for sex and race that it uses to hire public contractors. And she's going after a program she says the city uses to select public contractors that are owned mostly by minorities and women.
Trial is underway this week for a man accused of causing traumatic injuries to a Ferguson police officer during a 2024 protest. As KMOX reported, charges against protester Elijah Gant have been downgraded from felony first-degree assault to second-degree assault.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young explains prosecutors would have had to show that Gant intended to harm Officer T.J. Brown.
The video shows Gant running and then colliding with T.J. Brown, and it's hard to say that he was intending to hurt Officer Brown, or it could have been an accident. So prosecutors dropped that charge.
If convicted on all charges, Gant could face 15 to 20 years in prison.
It's now 6:06, a senseless act, and for very little money. That's what the federal judge sentencing 70-year-old Michael Grady to life in prison said at the conclusion of his murder for hire trial. Grady still says he had nothing to do with the shooting death of Charles Harris III in 2011.
His co-conspirator, 67-year-old Victoria Williams, testified that her co-worker Grady came up with the plan to kill her fiancé to collect on a life insurance policy. Williams even called the insurance company to make sure the policy would pay out if Harris were robbed and killed. She was sentenced to 18 years.
Recent statistics from the Illinois State Police show officers recovered 342 stolen or hijacked vehicles between June 2024 to 26.
The Illinois State Police is continuing to crack down on vehicle thefts, hijackings, and other related violent crimes for the third year in a row. ISP has received money from the Illinois Secretary of State since 2024 for the efforts and was given $630,000 just last year. The agency reports between June of 2024 and June of 2026, officers received 975 forensic assignments that related to stolen or hijacked vehicles in the state. 24 arrests were made for those stolen vehicles and 10 firearms were seized. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
The 18th annual World Naked Bike Ride is this weekend in the Grove, according to organizers. St. Louis remains one of the largest naked bike rides of all participating cities around the world, usually drawing about 2,500 participants.
The International Bear As You Dare event aims to celebrate body positivity while raising awareness of cyclists' rights and their vulnerability on the road. The festivities begin Saturday at 4 with DJs, live music, and contests. The ride takes off at 6.
It is going on 6:08, and I don't think there'll be any naked cyclists on the road this morning, but you never know. But we'll take a look at the roadways and the weather coming up next.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, Cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
610, Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, thankfully, they made quick work of this crash. We had westbound 44 at Shrewsbury. I mean, believe it or not, I've only talked about it, I think, for maybe 20 minutes, and they already had a flatbed out there, loaded the car up. The EMS left the scene. All lanes are back open, so everything looks great now. Westbound 44 at Shrewsbury. In that general vicinity, don't forget, roadwork started. It's underway, and it'll be through the end of the year, I believe, that northbound Elm at Kirkham Brentwood Boulevard is shut down. They have a big culvert there. They have to do replacement work, so Elm is closed there. Again, that's sort of a long-term project. And speaking of projects, they postponed late yesterday. They postponed the road work that was supposed to start today on eastbound 70 between the Wayscales east of Forestell and Wentzville Parkway. They were supposed to be shifting lanes starting today. And also the ramp from David Hokel Parkway to eastbound 70 was supposed to close today, but they've pushed it back a week now till next Thursday when that is all scheduled now to begin. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
A gorgeous day today. Sunshine mixing with some clouds. Our high 81, partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 66. Tomorrow, plenty of clouds and unusually cool for this time of the year with a couple of showers in the afternoon. The high just 76. On Saturday, a thunderstorm early, then becoming partly sunny. Much warmer, much more humid. The high 88. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's mostly sunny and 64 degrees downtown.
It's 6:12. Sports coming up in 3 minutes. 8 new semi-private suites are coming to Enterprise Center this September. The studio seats can fit between 6 to 12 people and are located within the Bommarito Lounge. Vice President of Sales with the Blues, Nick Wershak, tells us that the suites are designed to combine the comfort of suites and all-inclusive amenities with a more social atmosphere.
We're taking an old school suite and now we're redefining it with a shared space. I think more and more time people want to be warm and inviting and open their doors. This kind of allows them that ability, but it also plays off a couple of our sold out spaces now that are, in huge demand.
Wershak says 50% of suites have already been sold.
St. Louis proved itself a soccer market during the World Cup. Fox Sports says Nielsen numbers covering the full tournament show St. Louis ranked 8th nationally with a 3.45 rating, finishing ahead of markets like Seattle and Los Angeles. Kansas City led the nation at 4.89, boosted by actually hosting matches. But St. Louis, which hosted no games, still cracked the top 10 out of every market in the country.
So many people from all over. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas says the World Cup in his city was one of the most fun sports events he's ever experienced, and he praises local businesses and says in talking with the White House FIFA task force,
and I said, why don't you guys do the whole government? Because honestly, seeing an urban city work with the feds, work with the state, nobody cares about politics. Everyone wants to be safe. It was kind of the best of America here around the 250th birthday of our country.
Lucas telling the Chris and Amy show it'll be a while until they know exactly how much revenue the World Cup brought to the region.
St. Louis is ditching rail plans for buses, but in Kansas City, their streetcar did play a major role in moving people during the World Cup. We get more from Dan Weinbaum.
The Kansas City streetcar has never had a month like that, breaking any and all streetcar records. For the month between June 11th and July 11th, just shy of 839,000 people took a ride. The Streetcar Authority said that's more than many U.S. streetcar systems carry in a full year. Another daily record was set July 11th. Just shy of 56,000 people hopped on board that day. That was the final day of the Fan Festival, with the free American Rejects concert and 2 World Cup matches shown on the big screens. Throughout the month, the streetcar was running 9 to 12 cars and added 8 to 10 buses as a streetcar link to provide more capacity. The Streetcar Authority also said there were no major safety incidents.
Soccer here in St. Louis is back with the Major League Soccer team, St. Louis City SC, getting a win this past Thursday against Sporting KC. They went on the road, took on the LA Galaxy last night.
41-25, 0-0 in LA. Third corner of the game for City. It's Hartle. Hartle slices. Oh, yeah. Here's out of 6. Oh, what a header from McNaughton! And he kisses it in at the far post! Lucas McNaughton! City lead!
Joey Zanaboni with the call on Y98 FM just 5 minutes later.
Shoulder down and torso down by Totland, close to the top of the box. Now Hartle from game. He takes a shot and scores! Oh, he hits it toward the near post and freezes the keeper, Marcinkowski! Hello, Cello! 2-0 St. Louis.
City wins it 3-1. They're unbeaten in their last 7 and just a point out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Cardinals are a half game out of a playoff spot in the National League.
The wind and the pitch. That's hit hard to center field. That's going to back up Trout. It's over his head, and it's over the wall. A big fly for J.J. Weatherholt. Straightaway center field. His 15th of the year. The Cardinals strike first here in the 6th inning. It's 1-0 Redbird.
Would that hold up? The Cardinals would need pitching to take care of them, something that has let them down over the last several games. Hunter Dobbins with an excellent start, 6 scoreless innings for him, didn't walk anyone, struck out 5. Luis Gastelum with a scoreless frame in the 7th. George Soriano in the 8th. Riley O'Brien walked a pair in the 9th and had a chance to shut it down.
1-2 the count, low at the plate. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swing and a miss. He struck him out. Riley O'Brien strikes out the side in the 9th inning. Comes up big for the Cardinals. What a game for St. Louis on the pitching side as they pitch a shutout here in Anaheim and win this one 1-0.
Boy, they needed that. The Cardinals had dropped 4 in a row coming into that contest. Here is Weatherholt with Danny Wexelman on Cardinals TV.
What are the conversations been like in the clubhouse with the guys? Obviously a couple tough losses, but able to get the win before going home?
Just trying to stay positive. I mean, that's really all you can do. This game's a grind and the season's long, and you're just bound to lose some games that are tough. And I think these past couple have felt like that. But the biggest thing is to just try to kill it before it gets too big. So it's big for us to come out today, play clean baseball, get a good start from Dobbins, and then especially the bullpen just putting up zeros on the board.
You've had a nice start to your rookie season. How would you describe it?
It's been great. Yeah, I mean, definitely have showed some flashes of the player that I can be. Always working to try to just be more consistent at the plate and continue to play good defense, run the base as well. Just kind of be that 5-tool player and do everything the right way.
Are you having fun?
Having a lot of fun.
He's wise beyond his years, isn't he? J.J. Weatherholt, the rookie, as the Cardinals get the win. They have a game at Busch Stadium this afternoon, 4:15 start. It's a makeup game for a rainout against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then they host the Reds and the Cubs on this homestand. 4:15 first pitch, 3:20 pregame this afternoon right here on KMOX. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20, and this is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great out there right now, Debbie. Pretty easy going for everybody this Thursday morning. This traffic reports the service of Ricken Financial. 55 looks great coming up from the Barnhart area, headed up through 141 at the Merrimack there. No slowdowns at that point. Downtown on the Illinois side, 55, 70, and 64 through those work zones look good. 70 out west, again, they picked up all that road work that was westbound between Wentzville and David Hokel Parkways. And again, they pushed back that road work scheduled to start today. Eastbound 70 in that area, eastbound 70 east of Forestell into Wentzville Parkway, and the ramp from David Hokel Parkway to eastbound 70 was scheduled to be closed starting today. That ramp closure for the next 30 days, the lane shift lasting through that time as well. They postponed that from starting today till starting next Thursday. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement with Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX, and get more at rickenfinancial.com.
Weather-wise, it is going to be really nice until we head into Sunday and Monday, and then the heat returns. Today, though, just sunshine and clouds, high 81. Tomorrow's high 76. We could be looking at a couple of showers in the afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy, and then 88 with thunderstorms in the morning on Saturday. Right now, it is 64 degrees with mostly sunny skies.
The voice of Joe Buck, unmistakable 30 years ago in 1996.
Liriano hits it down the line and right into the corner. Jordan is there. He has it. And the Cardinals wrap it up. The Cardinal dugout explodes onto the field. Everyone gathers on the mound, hugging Dennis Eckersley. It's a 7-1 Cardinal win. And the Cardinals have made it to the final field of 8. They have qualified for postseason by winning the NL Central Division. Get ready, St. Louis. Postseason baseball is coming back to St. Louis for the first time since 1987.
Joe Buck with the historic call on KMOX in 1996. I asked him about it days before he goes into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown this Saturday.
Yeah, and it's so different, when you're doing it locally, which sounds like you're dismissing it. And in many ways, the local baseball job is more rewarding than the national baseball job. The national one pays better. The local one is when you can really enjoy it because you're part of the traveling crew. You're part of what they're doing. You get on the bus, as you get on the bus when you go to the stadium and you feel like you're part of the group. You feel like you're part of the team. And then you go to the national stuff and you're getting in a car service or a cab and you go back to the airport and you fly home alone. And, there is no win or loss. It's just you did your job. Baseball on a local level is life's great when you win, not so great when you're losing. And that was a great moment, for them to clinch and get that chance to go to the postseason. And then I had to put on the other hat of doing the postseason on Fox, and I'm sitting there at Busch Stadium thinking the Cardinals could clinch this thing, go to the World Series. I'm going to be calling my hometown team in the World Series in my first World Series on network TV. And then for those who remember, a 3-1 lead was blown against the Atlanta Braves. But yeah, I remember that. And I remember just the feeling of exuberance, like we did it. Now, I didn't throw a pitch. I didn't get a hit. I didn't score any runs, but you feel like you're a part of the crew. And there's nothing like that as a broadcaster, I don't think. It's in that way far superior than doing the national stuff.
The old Yankee Stadium might well have been, to this day, the loudest baseball stadium that's ever been. You're there, World Series, 96, calling it on Fox. Take me to that.
Man, it was intense. You're walking into the same hallways that all that history is walked through. Now, there have been redos over time, but that's the same ballpark. DiMaggio walked into, Mantle, Ruth. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And you feel all that when you're there. And the booth was so good. I mean, I don't want St. Louis fans to go, oh, well, what about Busch Stadium? Busch Stadium was my home. Right. I mean, that was like my living room as a little kid running around the hallways. But then, as you take that and you go to New York and you're in the Bronx and you're in that booth, just almost feeling like you're hanging over home plate. And it was old. I mean, when the crowd would get loud like that and beers are flying out of the upper deck, the booth would bounce. And it's just, there's no feeling like it. You don't really have to talk when you do TV there. You don't feel the need to fill any dead air. There is no dead air. The dead air is just fans making that murmur that makes baseball so great. So I felt all that. And then, you go do your job. So I just remember getting ready for game one, and I was so, on one hand, nervous, on the other hand, excited. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just take my time getting ready, putting my stuff in my scorebook, and I'm just going to chill. And I'm going to try and relax as best I can. I don't want to go 100 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, man, I'm behind. I got to go. I got to get this stuff down so that I have it in front of me when the game starts. And then the rain started coming down, and game one got rained out. And so I was able to go back the next night. All my scorebook stuff, all that stuff was done. And I could just relax and kind of ease into game one of the World Series with Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly, who was with us. And it was a gift from God that I got that chance. So, yeah, for them to wrap it up, Joe Torre, the core four, all those guys were there. And I remember looking into the camera at the end of that World Series, game 6. Yankees had won, and it had been forever for them, relatively speaking. And I was looking into the camera, and I was thinking of my dad. I was thinking of talking to my dad, wrapping up what we had just seen over those previous 6 games. So it was that you never forget your first in every category of life. And, 24 World Series are great, but there's nothing like that first one.
Joe Buck, who will go into the Baseball Hall of Fame this Saturday in Cooperstown. It's 6:27. Time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever.
Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
It is 6:30 and mostly sunny, 64 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have a minor lane obstruction, it sounds like, on 370 between Elm Newtown and 94. So watch if you're traveling through that area right now. They're also sending emergency crews for a crash reported on Highway 67 at Highway Y in Jefferson County. So, again, pay attention if you're headed into that area right now. They didn't specify if it was northbound or southbound. The only delays I'm seeing right now is a little slowdown up further north at Meyer Road. Highway Y is down closer to St. Francis State Park, and it looks like things are still okay through that area so far. The rest of the highways are okay. I don't see any other delays yet. It is Thursday morning. They tend to be lighter, so things are in good shape. The only place there's a little heavy traffic is westbound 64, just a touch slow, west of Ball Avenue up to the 70 split there. Again, that ramp leading onto westbound 70 from westbound 64 is closed. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have sun mixing with clouds today and a high of 81. Tomorrow's high 76. That's right. Friday will be mostly cloudy with some showers in the afternoon, and then a thunderstorm to start Saturday with a high of 88. 64 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis.
The Special School District of St. Louis County is ending its use of seclusion and physical restraint of students effective immediately. The Post-Dispatch reports Superintendent Michael Macklin announced the change Tuesday, 5 months after a federal report accused the district of using both practices routinely instead of as a last resort.
The Justice Department found that over 2 years, SSD put students in seclusion nearly 4,000 times and physically restrained them 777 times, often for minor issues like spilling a teacher's coffee. The feds had threatened legal action if the district didn't reform.
The registration portal that multiple school districts use to register students has been down for days. KMOX virtual consumer editor Megan Lynch has details.
Districts that use it in our region report multiple disruptions and in some cases complete outages over the last week, the key time for student registration. KMOX reached out to the company. Skyward is reassuring families and schools that it's not the result of a cyber attack or security incident. The company says it's updating and migrating to a new hosting environment, and it's taken longer than expected to test the system. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It's never too early to start thinking about the holidays at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Tomorrow, it's Jingle in July, and it starts at 5. It's an event included with normal admission. There are photo ops tomorrow with Santa and the Ice Queen, along with live tropical music, because it is July after all. The event also marks the start of ticket sales for Garden Glow, which runs starting in November all the way through into the beginning of January.
It's 6:33, news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
You might think KMOX is just a radio station, but it's really a conversation about the city we love, the teams we cheer for, the things we celebrate, the things we debate, the issues we care about. The stories happening right outside your door. The things that matter. We're talking about you. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Join the conversation. Everyone's welcome.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The smartest way to do your homework is Ackerman lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the trained professionals at Ackerman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their team will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Ackerman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready to help. Also, check out their expanded paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Ackerman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deals, specials, and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
6:35. This is Total Information AM, and time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Uber says it's embracing artificial intelligence and it's cutting jobs as a result. The ride-hailing giant's laying off 10% of its customer service workforce as it leans more heavily on AI. But Uber isn't freezing hiring altogether. It's still looking to fill more than 500 roles, including for engineers to support its robotaxi partnerships. Staying with tech, Google parent Alphabet lifted its projected spending to as much as $205 billion this year. This is another reminder that the AI arms race is getting more expensive by the quarter. Investors are definitely concerned at the price tag. That's sending stock futures lower this morning. S&P futures are down 26 points, Dow futures falling 215. And Hyundai has been losing ground to Chinese electric vehicle brands in places like Europe and Asia, while U.S. tariffs are still a major headwind. The automaker's quarterly profit missed analyst expectations. Global retail sales fell 4.2%. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence. And the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans. And now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual.
You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 6:39. The Pentagon says it carried out another round of strikes on Iran last night, hours after President Trump attended the dignified transfer of 4 American soldiers killed last week in the skirmish. President Trump also issued a new warning to Iran, saying for every ship it struck in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. would destroy one bridge or power plant inside Iran. This as Americans continue to feel it in their wallets. The average price for regular gas is up more than 15 cents from last week, around $4.09 a gallon. That's the national average, according to Gas Buddy. And the House Oversight Committee set to interview Jeffrey Epstein's former private J.P. Morgan Chase investment banker, Jess Staley, today. He denies any wrongdoing. Staley spent more than 30 years at J.P. Morgan, including managing relationships with ultra-wealthy clients like Epstein until Staley's career came crashing down after Epstein's death. Let's get you caught up on your ride in and the weather as well. We are going to enjoy some beautiful weather until things really start to heat up again next week. Details on the way. But first, Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Any big issues?
No, it's pretty quiet out there right now, Debbie. There's a couple of delays on the Illinois side, building some volume now. Westbound 64, Ball Avenue up through 3rd Street. Of course, that 70 ramp is closed to westbound 70 from 64. And also eastbound 5570, you got roadwork delays from 203 about midway into 111 on the eastbound side, but westbound looks good coming in from 255. Also, eastbound Highway 30 is kind of slow approaching Mauer Industrial, headed up the hill to 270. Still don't see any delays on 67. We had a crash reported. Well, there's barely a slowdown. It must be on the shoulder. Northbound 67 just south of Highway Y. Doesn't look like a big deal there. Lee May Ferry at Bayless, they also sent emergency crews for a crash. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
By Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
6:41, time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I have to admit my dog was getting a little punchy because we didn't go on a whole lot of walks. And if we did, they were short ones when it was so hot. So the last few days have been lovely.
I'm sure that your dog has enjoyed these walks in the more comfortable weather. You got a couple more days of it today and tomorrow before the humidity comes back, and then the heat comes with it for Sunday and early next week. Today, sun will give way to increasing clouds. I'm seeing some returns on the radar to our north and west. Not sure that any of that's reaching the ground, but something to keep an eye on. Our high 81. I think it stays dry today. Tonight turns out mostly cloudy, those 66. From those clouds tomorrow, there will be a couple of showers in the afternoon. It's going to stay cool. I don't think we get out of the mid-70s tomorrow. Saturday, though, a warm front lifts to our north and east. Clouds and a thunderstorm give way to some sun. The heat and humidity build up to 88, and then we just into a blast furnace for Sunday and into next week. 94 Sunday, partly sunny. Monday, sun and some clouds, very hot and humid, the high 98. 64 at St. Peter's, 65 in Florissant, 67 and partly cloudy downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is 6:43. A former modeling scout who introduced some young women to Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his home outside of Paris. Daniel Siad was named more than 2,000 times in the Epstein files released so far by the Justice Department. According to emails in those documents, Siad would connect Epstein to young women he recruited from around the world, some of whom were teenagers. ABC's James Hill has been covering the Epstein case for years.
Yeah, it emerged this week that Siad, who was 69, was found unresponsive in his apartment in a suburb of Paris on Monday night. His attorney told ABC that he had been discovered by the sister of one of his neighbors.
There are new calls for possible criminal charges against a former special counsel who investigated President Trump. More from ABC's Hannah Battah.
The head of the House Judiciary Committee pushing for charges against former special counsel Jack Smith. Republican Representative Jim Jordan issued a criminal referral asking the Justice Department to investigate whether Smith lied to Congress during his deposition last year. Smith testified about President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The top Democrat on the committee is calling the referral baseless and vindictive.
Protesters gathered outside the New York federal courthouse where ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores attended a hearing on their drug trafficking charges, the judge ordering their trial for June 2027. As that was happening, both supporters and opponents of Maduro demonstrated. Brooklyn resident Michaela Martinazzi says she's one of the Americans tired of funding endless wars.
Venezuela should be able to dictate how they're governed, and our government should not have the right to go in other countries and kidnap, elected leaders and bring them here for a sham trial.
A federal judge scheduled to sentence Vince Bolter on Thursday for the killing of Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, as well as staking out and shooting another state lawmaker and his family.
Bolter pleaded guilty last month after prosecutors agreed to take the death penalty off the table. He admitted to carrying out what prosecutors called a night of terror that shook Minnesota to its core when he disguised himself as a member of law enforcement, assassinated a top Democrat in the Minnesota House and her husband, and severely injured a state senator and his wife. Prosecutors are asking the judge to sentence Bolter to 2 life sentences and an additional 40 years in prison. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Cardinal baseball coming your way this afternoon at 4:15 from Busch Stadium. That's right. It is a rain-out makeup game for the Cardinals. Maybe not on your calendar. You should put it on now. They take on the Diamondbacks at 4:15, pregame at 3:20. Beautiful weather for Cardinal baseball. Then the Reds and Cubs series begin. The Cardinals won yesterday 1-0 over the Angels. Hunter Dobbins with 6 scoreless innings. They might want to keep him in the rotation. He walked no one. He struck out 5. He's 2-1 with a 3.18 ERA. Gastelum, Soriano, O'Brien. That's what Ollie Marmol did with the bullpen. And O'Brien, although he put 2 on with a couple of walks, did strike out the side and pick up his 26th save. Home run from J.J. Weatherholt, his 15th. He hit that in the 6th, and that's all the Cardinals needed. A 1-0 win. They only had 3 hits yesterday, but they got it against the Angels due to their great pitching. The Cardinals now come home and play the Diamondbacks. Then the Reds this weekend for 3 and the Cubs for 4. And then the trade deadline on July 31st. So we're going to learn a lot about the Cardinals in these next 5 at home. 20 games in 20 days coming out of the All-Star break for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a lot. And we'll see what they do at the deadline. Chaim Bloom telling us that sometimes things on deadline day come across that you did not think were going to happen. And sometimes everything goes as scheduled. It should be an interesting day to see what sort of phone calls they get from other teams interested in their players and vice versa. The Cardinals are a half game out in the National League wild card race currently, trailing the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. So the Cardinals can jump over the Diamondbacks with a win against them today. St. Louis City SC, they won as well. They knocked off the LA Galaxy.
Cardle, good little half volley, and then swats it forward. Betcher in to the top of the 18, flicks it over the keeper. You got it, baby. St. Louis City, once again, a 3-piece in Los Angeles. It's Simon Betcher who scored here in Carson last season. City 3, LA nothing, 69th minute.
Joey Zanaboni with the call on Y98 FM. City has a 7-game unbeaten streak going right now. They are a point out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference, a 3-1 win over the LA Galaxy on the road last night. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens and making memories. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old, inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM. I am Debbie Monterrey. That is Tom Ackerman. And this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the heaviest traffic we have right now, Debbie, is on the Illinois side, westbound 64. A couple of slowdowns from about 25th Street up to the 70 split. Again, that ramp to westbound 70 closed for a semi-long-term project there, so stick with westbound 64. If you're on eastbound 55, 70, 203, most of the way into 111, you got a roadwork slowdown, but the westbound side, so far so good at that point, and 64 looks good in Fairview Heights for you right now. Northbound 55, a good run coming up from Festus, still just seeing the briefest of slowdowns. On northbound 67 south of Highway Y, that's where he had an injury crash. It obviously is on the shoulder because there's nothing more than just a very brief slowdown past the folks dealing with it. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64, eastbound 70. Everything looks great for you coming out of Wentzville right now. North 270, 55 up through Gravois past 44. Everything looks good headed for Manchester. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270, just kind of slow so far. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says sunshine mixing with clouds. Comfortable today, high 81, partly to mostly cloudy, low 66 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, couple of showers in the afternoon, high 76. Saturday, we're back to heat and humidity with a high of 88, and Sunday is roasting, a high of 94. Real feels approaching 100. Currently, it's mostly clear. We have a few clouds coming in downtown, 64 degrees.
It is 6:52. A major manufacturer will open its first U.S. location in Chicago.
Make no mistake about it. This project is for our community members.
Edmonton-based 0 Point Cryogenics is moving into the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park in Chicago, its first facility in the U.S. Chris Casson is CEO.
We build the systems that underpin quantum technologies. If quantum is the vehicle, cryogenics is the infrastructure and is the engine that enables some of the world's most advanced technologies.
Governor Pritzker says 0 Point is one of only 6 companies in the world manufacturing dilution refrigerators, key in quantum tech.
Its decision to establish its first U.S. location here in Illinois is a tremendous validation of our state's scientific and economic leadership in the quantum industry.
The news of the expansion coming at the 2nd Annual Global Quantum Forum in Chicago. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Also in the news this morning on Total Information AM, Apple is preparing to change how you pay for its most popular devices. As David Welch reports, the company wants to turn buying a new iPhone into a monthly plan.
Rather than pay up front, you lease the phone, make monthly payments, then trade up or hand it back at the end. Think of it as a car lease for your iPhone. Apple's calling it Apple Upgrade. Tech analyst Ian Scher says to understand the move, look at where Apple and Android stand.
People have chosen their sides. You're a blue bubble or you're a green bubble.
So Scher says Apple aims to squeeze more from the customers it already has.
We're not going to charge you the full $800 or $1,000 or whatever for your phone. We're going to let you break it up into small interest payments. And, at the end of it, you can own it or not.
Scher says Apple may use that flexibility to set up something bigger, and he points to music and TV subscriptions as a possible tell.
There is the sense that the future is going to be that we don't really need to own these things for extended periods.
In San Francisco, David Welch, KCBS.
The Musial Awards are still a few months away, but we're getting a sneak peek into who will win this year's Stan Musial Lifetime Achievement Award for Sportsmanship. It is tennis legend and sports icon Billie Jean King. King will accept the award in person on November 21st at Stiefel Theater. Tickets for the extravaganza went on sale officially yesterday, and for the 8th consecutive year, CBS will broadcast the event nationwide in December.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Woody Harrelson is celebrating a birthday today. The actor is 65. Also, Slash is 61 today, the Guns N' Roses lead guitarist.
And Martin Gore of Depeche Mode. Also, Marie Grubb, happy birthday to you. Joanne Constantino is celebrating her birthday. So is Marianne Mackin of Belleville, who turns 95 today. And happy Sweet 16, Abby Hickam from Mom, Dad, Lauren, and Connor. The birthday shout-out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, if you need something done in your yard and you've been putting it off, I understand. Sometimes you have to make a lot of phone calls and it's annoying, but please make this phone call to Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a sign you have the very best. So if you are looking for an upgrade for the fence around your yard, they do an incredible job. Also, decks, patios, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms. They can do a small project. They can do an enormous project and everything in between. If you already know exactly what you want, that's great. If you need some help, head to their showroom. They've got some incredible examples of what they can do. And it'll give you a real sense of the product offerings and the craftsmanship, because Chesterfield Fence and Deck has its own installation teams. That's all they do, and they have years of experience. So they are going to do something that lasts for years to come, and that is a great value. On top of the fact that if you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best at chesterfieldfence.com.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay. Are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Let's hear from Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we have our delays downtown. Some backed up traffic eastbound 5570 approaching 203, more than midway into 111 due to road work, and westbound 64 delays from 25th Street up to the 70 split. After that, it's clear going across the Poplar. Next update at 7:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, July 23rd. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Maria Keenan.
What's going on in the management of the Postal Service?
Senator, because
you don't know?
Senator Josh Hawley introducing legislation, the No Bonus for Bad Service Act, directed at the United States Postal Service.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The Special School District of St. Louis County is ending its use of selection, seclusion, and physical restraint of students effective immediately. Find out why next hour.
Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of Elijah Gant's trial, the man charged with the second-degree assault of Officer T.J. Brown. More after the 7 o'clock ABC News.
Our weather, it's going to be a high of 81, quite comfortable today, less humid. It's 7 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Not much talking, but more attacks in the Middle East. The U.S. carrying out an 11th straight night of attacks. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia this morning warning about incoming attacks. Secretary of State Marco Rubio asked about the potential for peace talks with Iran.
The problem we're having right now is that they're not serious about talks. If they're serious, we're serious. If they're not, then we will do what is necessary to protect that, our interest and also the interests of our allies.
That's Marco Rubio. Later this morning, Dover Air Force Base, President Trump did attend the dignified transfer for the remains of some of the troops that were killed in the Middle East. Parts of the Gulf Coast had faced the prospect of a hit from Tropical Storm Bertha. They got that hit. It hit in southern Louisiana and is now headed to the Gulf Coast of Texas. Parts of the Northeast cleaning up after strong storms that canceled thousands of flights earlier this week. And there were water rescues being taken place in and around West Virginia as well. This is ABC News. A fraternity at Texas Christian University has launched a fundraising campaign to help support a member who's been deported to El Salvador by the Trump administration.
A track star and valedictorian at his high school, Luis Andrade Garcia is an accounting and business information major at TCU. When he was arrested for disorderly conduct last month, a check of his immigration status found that he had come to the country illegally when he was 3, and the deportation process began. His fraternity, Lambda Theta Phi, is appealing for Garcia's return and has raised over $15,000 to go toward his legal expenses. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
What does it feel like when you deliver a baby, and are there any surprises?
I would say how slippery the baby was.
Yeah.
A lot of fluids on it. Wasn't expecting that with the rubber gloves.
Berlin Borough, Pennsylvania police officer Dominic Hodson, who helped Taylor Durham give birth in the parking lot of a Wawa convenience store on July 6th. Mom and cop and baby reunited this week. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We have mostly sunny skies. It's 65 degrees now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
Going across the country, you have letters here that were just going across town that had been dumped in this pile.
Senator Josh Hawley trying to get some answers from Postmaster General David Steiner on why the Postal Service still isn't delivering mail on time and what the cause was for thousands of pieces of mail being dumped in North County.
The Postal Service promised the public and me, when this was discovered, that there'd be a full accounting of this. We would find out what happened, and we'd have a full and total investigation and complete transparency. And since that time, I've heard nothing. That was April.
Steiner told Hawley he did not know about that missing mail. Well, that didn't sit well with the senator.
Here it is in a pile. And you're telling me this is the first time you've heard about it?
First time I've heard about it.
Don't you think that's kind of exceptional? What's going on in the management of the Postal Service?
Senator, because
you don't know?
I don't think I have heard about it.
What's going on in the management of the Postal Service that you've got a pile of thousands of pieces of mail in a major city, and this is the first time you're the Postmaster General, that you're telling me it's the first time you've heard about it? Who works for you?
Hawley told Postmaster General Steiner mail is not being delivered, and he believes Steiner needs to resign.
Just last year, the Inspector General, when I asked him to do an audit of the St. Louis Distribution Center, the Inspector General told me it was the worst case of lack of on-time delivery, the worst case of distribution problems he had ever seen, ever, in an audit that he had done. Ever. What's been changed since then?
If you look at the service scores, I would commend you to go online. We publish our service scores weekly.
I don't want to go online. I want you to come here with answers because you're the Postmaster General of the United States. I don't want to have you come here and be told you don't know what's going on in my home state.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Special school district banning 2 crisis interventions after the feds accused the district of endangering children with disabilities. The Post-Dispatch reports Superintendent Michael Macklin announced they will immediately stop secluding students and holding them down flat on their backs.
Justice Department report in February found SSD used those methods thousands of times over 2 years, frequently for minor misbehavior, in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The DOJ had threatened to sue if the district didn't change course.
If your school district uses an online portal called Skyward for registration, you may still be waiting to register for the new school year.
School districts in our region have been dealing with Skyward system outages over the last week, right at the point when student registration is kicking into high gear. In a statement sent to KMOX News, Skyward says it's related to system upgrades. It was part of planned maintenance, but some unexpected issues have required more testing. Skyward adds the outage was not triggered by any cyber attack or security incidents. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Missouri's Attorney General is suing Kansas City for contracting based on sex and race. Catherine Hanaway says the city has a percentage-based quota for sex and race that it uses to hire public contractors. The AG is going after a program she says the city uses to select public contractors that are owned mostly by minorities and women.
Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of Elijah Gant's trial. Gant is charged with second-degree assault of Officer T.J. Brown. Chief Troy Doyle got emotional talking about Officer Brown, whom he'd hired and has known for a decade. He says his officers that night were trying to protect the public and their free speech rights, even closing the street off for protests. Gant's attorney says his client was running out of fear and did not intentionally run into Officer Brown.
A 71-year-old man is sentenced to life in prison for murdering a St. Louis County man for an insurance payout. Michael Grady is already serving a 19-year federal prison sentence for a violent, large-scale drug conspiracy. Yesterday, Grady was convicted for conspiring with a woman to murder her fiancé, Charles Harris III.
68-year-old Victoria Williams took out an accidental death policy on Harris after planning a fake robbery for him to be killed in and gave Grady a portion of the insurance payouts once her fiancé was dead. Williams was sentenced to 225 months in prison in March.
The Illinois State Police touting numbers from their continued crackdown on vehicle hijacking in the state.
The Illinois State Police was given over $630,000 last year from the Illinois Secretary of State to target vehicle thefts, hijacking, and other related violent crimes. This marks the third year ISP has received the money from the State Department for the efforts. They report from June 2024 to June 2026, officers recovered 342 stolen or hijacked vehicles, made 24 arrests in connection to those vehicles, and used canines in 11 of those operations. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
2 boaters were rescued on the Missouri River yesterday morning by Lake St. Louis firefighters. They were stranded after their boat lost power. No injuries were reported.
Also in the news, the 18th annual World Naked Bike Ride this weekend in the Grove. According to organizers, St. Louis remains one of the largest naked bike rides of all participating cities around the globe, usually drawing around 2,500 participants. The International Bear As You Dare event aims to celebrate body positivity while raising awareness of cyclists' rights and their vulnerability on the road. The festivities begin Saturday at 4 with DJs, live music, and contests. The ride takes off at 6.
There's new seating. If you're a blues fan, you could score yourself a suite. We've got more details after we check traffic and weather at 7:08.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10 and time for traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways continue to be in pretty great shape so far this morning for folks, Debbie. I mean, we don't have much in the way of delays. A little slow traffic on eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270. Northbound 67, still just a brief slowdown south of Highway Y. That's where we had an earlier reported injury crash. Roadwork delays on westbound 64 from Ball Avenue up to the 70 split. Again, that 70 ramp is closed. Eastbound 5570, just a little slowdown, better than it was 10, 15 minutes ago, east of 203, midway into 111. There's also a little slowdown in that construction zone on northbound 255 between Horseshoe Lake Road and 162. But with those asides, interstate travel otherwise on both sides of the river is wide open for you. I mean, there's more folks on the highway, but it's all moving at the speed limit or plus that. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunshine mixing with clouds today and quite comfortable. High 81. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, low 66. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. A couple of showers around in the afternoon. And unusually cool for late July. The high only in the mid-70s. Saturday may start with a thunderstorm, otherwise becoming much warmer and a lot more humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine, the high up to 88. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
A great morning out there. Get out and enjoy it. It's 64 in Florissant, 64 in St. Peters, and mostly sunny. A few clouds, 65 downtown at the Arch.
Construction of 8 studio suites underway at Enterprise Center. These are semi-private suites that can fit between 6 and 12 people and are designed for spectators who don't need a full suite, but would still like access to special amenities. The vice president of sales with the St. Louis Blues, Nick Wurchak, calls the addition a totally modernized concept of suites.
This concept is an open shared suite, all inclusive, so your food and beverage is all covered. We've gotten a lot of inspiration, so some of our other areas like Bull and Bear and Bomberito Lounge have been very sought after, sold out since the inception of them being added to our repertoire here.
Coming off the high of a successful World Cup, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas is looking ahead. He tells KMOX's Chris and Amy the new Royals Stadium project is moving along.
We have a zoning meeting, a good classic neighborhood meeting soon. The public has responded well to this deal at a time when the public doesn't really respond great to stadium developments. I get the controversies and talks about billionaires, but I think the Royals are looking at a great project. It also allows us to keep the world headquarters of Hallmark.
As far as Arrowhead Stadium, he says the Chiefs' home proved to be one of the best places to see a game anywhere in the world, pointing out how much money the state of Kansas will have to throw at the Chiefs. The mayor still thinks there's a tiny chance things might fall apart and they'll end up renovating Arrowhead.
St. Louis is ditching the rail for buses. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, their streetcar played a major role in moving people during the World Cup, as we hear from Dan Weinbaum.
The Kansas City streetcar has never had a month like that, breaking any and all streetcar records. For the month between June 11th and July 11th, just shy of 839,000 people took a ride. The Streetcar Authority said that's more than many U.S. streetcar systems carry in a full year. Another daily record was set July 11th. Just shy of 56,000 people hopped on board that day. That was the final day of the Fan Festival, with the free American Rejects concert and 2 World Cup matches shown on the big screens. Throughout the month, the streetcar was running 9 to 12 cars and added 8 to 10 buses as a streetcar link to provide more capacity. The Streetcar Authority also said there were no major safety incidents.
Kansas City topped the national list with a 4.89 rating and a 20 share for the World Cup ratings on Fox, getting a boost from being a host city. But St. Louis ranked 8th in the country for World Cup viewership over the entire tournament, ahead of Seattle, Washington, D.C., Denver, and Los Angeles. St. Louis pulled a 3.45 rating and a 13 share for the full tournament run. We are a soccer town after all, and
41-25, 0-0 in LA. Third corner of the game for City. It's Hartle. Hartle slices.
Oh, yeah.
Here's out of 6. Oh, what a header from McNaughton! And he kisses it in at the far post! Lucas McNaughton! City lead!
Joey Zanaboni with the call on Y98 FM. Here's Jen Cease.
7 unbeaten, second straight win after the World Cup break, first road win since Colorado, and for now, St. Louis City SC sits above the playoff line after a 3-1 win over the LA Galaxy Wednesday night. Lucas McNaughton and Marcel Hartle scored before halftime. With the double yellow turned red, the Galaxy went down a man early in the second half, and Simon Betcher added another goal to the scoreline. Roman Berkey returned in goal, and Mekhi Joyner made his first MLS start of the season as City kept its momentum rolling. Head coach Juan DeMay says the result was important, but the performance still wasn't where he wants it to be.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm happy about the result. I'm not so happy about the way we played tonight. If we want to keep building something, we have to look at those games and expect better from ourselves. Very happy with the result. Again, we're showing a lot of progress, but at the same time, there's a ton of things we could have done better tonight.
DeMay says he wants to see the group be more consistent and more ruthless as it continues building through the second half of the season. City returns home to host the Colorado Rapids on Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 on Y98 before a 7:30 kickoff. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
This is Ricky Horton with your Redbird recap. Yesterday, the Cardinals won a thriller in Anaheim as they ended the road trip 2-4 in good style, a 1-0 victory. Pitching was outstanding. Hunter Dobbins, just up from AAA, went 6 innings, did not walk a batter, struck out 5. He went to 2-1 with the victory. The save went to Riley O'Brien, his 26. Good work by Luis Castellum and George Soriano to get him there. And only 3 hits for the Cardinals as Reed Detmers from Southern Illinois pitched very well, only 1 run allowed, and that 1 run was a home run by J.J. Weatherholt, a 409-foot blast. That came in the 6th inning, the only run of the game. The Cardinals do not win the series, but they win that final game, and they're going to be playing Arizona today in a makeup game that comes to you from Busch Stadium, and we hope you will join us for the pregame at 3:20, the first pitch at 4:15, as the Cardinals go with Michael McGreevy. This has been Ricky Horton with the Redbird Recap.
Danny Wexelman with J.J. Weatherholt.
That was your third time facing Reed Detmers. What did you learn in your first 2 at-bats that helped you there?
Kind of just, where he was locating his stuff. I mean, he was staying primarily away to me with the heater. I thought both at-bats he gave me stuff to hit that I just missed, so kind of just tried to go up there confident, knowing the shape of his pitches, and just try to do less, and was able to put a good swing on one.
You guys always talk in the dugout. What were those conversations like throughout the game?
Yeah, obviously that his curveball was playing super slow. He was just kind of like landing that thing in there for strikes early. But today was really about his heater, I thought. He did a really good job at kind of going in and out to some guys, and especially for us lefties, I think he was staying away from us pretty good. So just talking about how we would want to attack him. And for me, like I said, I was just try to do less.
What have the conversations been like in the clubhouse with the guys? Obviously a couple tough losses, but able to get the win before going home?
Just trying to stay positive. I mean, that's really all you can do. This game's a grind and the season's long, and you're just bound to lose some games that are tough. And I think these past couple have felt like that. But the biggest thing is to just try to kill it before it gets too big. So it's big for us to come out today, play clean baseball, get a good start from Dobbins, and then especially the bullpen just putting up zeros on the board.
You've had a nice start to your rookie season. How would you describe it?
It's been great. Yeah, I mean, definitely have showed some flashes of the player that I can be. Always working to try to just be more consistent at the plate and continue to play good defense, run the base as well. Just kind of be that 5-tool player and do everything the right way.
Are you having fun?
Having a lot of fun.
Cut of the Game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
What has your candidate actually delivered? In Clayton, Ladue, Olivet, and Warson Woods, there's just one Democrat running for state representative who can answer. That's Sidney Clark. As mayor, he's delivered more than $100 million in economic growth and some of the strongest home values in the region. Balanced budgets, steady leadership, a neighbor since 1973. And now Sidney Clark will protect what you've built, stopping costly data centers from hiking your utility bills, and voting no on Amendment 5, which actually increases taxes on everything you buy. No other candidate in this race can say it. Sidney Clark has already done the job, and he's ready from day one. Sidney Clark, results, not rhetoric. Democrat for State Representative District 99.
I'm Sidney Clark, and I approve of this message. Paid for by Sidney Clark for State Representative District 99. Tammy Clark, Treasurer.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:20. This is Total Information AM. And if you're just heading out the door, you probably want to know if the roadways are clogged. Let's see what might be in your way with Roger Brand, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a little busier, but not bad, Debbie. I mean, northbound 55 is just a little slow passing Highway A, but after that, it's a good run up past 270. Northbound 270 starting to bog down now from Gravois, Highway 30 up through 44. Eastbound Highway 30, Mauer, Industrial, the hill to 270 is kind of heavy. Eastbound 64, a little bit of a slowdown as you pass Clarkson. Westbound 64, the McCausland, Bellevue area just starting to slow as you come out of the city. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, just a little crowded on the Poplar. It doesn't look that bad right now coming through Paul Avenue to 70. But eastbound 5570, you've got delays from 203 most of the way into 111. But otherwise, Illinois interstates look great for you so far this morning. And if you're traveling up on Highway 67, there's still just that brief slowdown northbound south of Highway Y where we had an earlier injury crash reported. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Get your air ducts cleaned for $599 per unit. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
Sunshine mixing with clouds, quite comfortable today, high 81. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, low 66. Tomorrow, cloudy, couple of showers in the afternoon. A little cool for late July, high of 76 degrees tomorrow. Right now, we have some clouds downtown. It's 65 with a mostly sunny sky in downtown St. Louis. That's where on September 8th, 1998, this happened.
Down the left field line. Is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home run king.
That is one of the calls that launched Joe Buck into stardom. That home run, number 62 of the 1998 season for Mark McGwire, broke Roger Maris's record. Joe Buck will go into the Hall of Fame on Saturday. And on that particular call, I talked to him about it on a special that aired last night.
I thought McGwire's 62 was a big moment for you. If you go back to it at your age and the magnitude of that moment in time, and that was a great call. You even were paying enough attention to see that he missed first, touch first, Mark. I mean, it was That was a big moment, I thought, for you, for Fox, for everybody.
Yeah, it was big for baseball. Everybody's talked about the 94 season and no postseason and all. There's no doubt there was all that. And then there was this great St. Louis audience that was there just lapping up everything that McGuire did. And he was worthy of all that. Yes, we know more about, stuff going on in private moments with regard to performance enhancing drug. It does not take away from the beauty of that whole run for me at all. I loved every second of it, and I got to do it with my dad and with Mike, and it was just awesome. And I love Mark. I haven't talked to him in forever, but man, we had a lot of good times those seasons that he was here, and I was proud of him. So, yeah, that was big for Fox. They moved all their primetime programming aside, and Ed Goren and David Hill said, put it on national TV. And what are the odds? He hits it that night. He gets the 60-second home run that had never been seen or done. And that call was good. I'm most proud of that call, I think, of all the ones that I've had over time because of the magnitude of the moment, that singular swing and the ball just hooking over the wall and barely fair. And the beauty of that was we were in the TV booth, which gave me a little bit better angle to watch that ball go into the corner as opposed to the radio booth. Mike was making the call. It was a little more like put your head out and look down into the corner. I was looking right down the line, so I could see it well. And USA Today ripped that call the next day. McCarthy, whatever that guy's name was, or something like that, said it was not memorable. I love that call. And that was a season that none of us will ever forget.
You had so many calls, Cardinal related. You can go right down the line, 06 World Series, 06 NLCS with Yachty's home run and Waino's final strikeout, all of that. Of course, the one I think that sticks with everybody is Freese's home run and the way that you paid tribute to your dad. Tell us how that came about for you.
Well, it was during the pandemic that it was on MLB Network, and I was on a treadmill or an elliptical, and it was on. I was like, I should just rewatch this. And obviously I wasn't on there the entire time. I'd be dead if I was the game took forever. But what struck me was early in the game, our trivia question, Aflac or whatever it was, trivia question was about who basically 20 years prior to the day hit a home run, to force a game 7. The simple question and answer, Kirby Puckett. But then I'm sitting there next to Tim McCarver, who was sitting there at the time next to my dad. And he said, yeah, and your dad had that great line, we'll see you tomorrow night. And that was bouncing around the back of my head since that moment earlier in the game. So flash forward a couple hours later, and we're in the 11th, and David Freese gets up, and he'd already been a hero for what he did in the 9th inning. He hits the home run, and that's what came out of my mouth. I didn't go into that game thinking, oh, well, if the Cardinals force game 7, I'm going to use it. But it was just there in my head because of the trivia question. And so I used it. It came out. I'd done a similar version of that in the past, the year my dad died, in 2002, in game 6, going to game 7 with the Angels and the Giants as a tribute to him. And then in 2004, during the ALCS, I said, we'll see you later tonight, when David Ortiz hit a past midnight home run to force a game. I guess it would have been 5 or whatever it was. And, all these things, you don't pre-plan any of that stuff. But I'm glad, sometimes they make me smile when I hear them, because I'm thinking about what I was thinking about when those moments happened.
What a weekend this is going to be for Joe Buck. He is going into the Baseball Hall of Fame this Saturday, the Ford C. Frick Award. We will have coverage all weekend long, and we'll air Joe's speech as well. It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's time for you. In fact, it's your lucky day to go to Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. And when you do, you're going to find that you have an opportunity to enter the $5,000 sweepstakes from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. All you have to do is go to Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, overheaddoorsstlouis.com, and enter. It's Takes a few seconds to put in your information and enter, and you will be in. Now, you have until the end of the month to enter to win the $5,000 sweepstakes. This is $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the company that's been doing this for a century. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com, overheaddoorsstlouis.com, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Ford 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
It is 7:30. Good Thursday morning to you. It is July 23rd. It is mostly sunny right now in downtown St. Louis and 66 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the roads look. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're a little busier, Tom, but all in all, not bad. I mean, northbound 270 now, you've got slower traffic running from Tesson Ferry through Gravois and north of Doherty Ferry up the hill to Manchester out west. A little bit of a slowdown southbound 61 as you cross over 64 and 70, getting onto that eastbound 70 ramp coming out of Wentzville. A little more volume on the Illinois side, but again, not bad. Downtown westbound 64, seeing slow traffic from just west of 25th Street up through the 70 split, and then across the Poplar and eastbound 5570, 203, most of the way into 111. You've got heavy traffic through that construction zone. There's also a little bit of a slowdown eastbound 44 passing Laclede Station. Again, folks need to get off at Laclede Station instead of Elm. If you normally cut through Elm, of course, it's closed at Kirkham Brentwood Boulevard. So the folks that normally get off at Elm and cut through over into the Brentwood Clayton area need to use Laclede Station while that remains closed. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, enjoy the next couple of days because the heat returns by Sunday and Monday. But today we've got sunshine with a few clouds, 81 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, and maybe a couple of showers in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high, 76. Right now it's 66 downtown.
It's 7:32 in the news this morning. Total Information AM on KMOX. Our headlines at the bottom of the hour. A man from East Alton is charged with 3 Class X felonies after threatening to shoot up Bethalto schools, quote, like Columbine. 35-year-old Mark Schrader was charged on Tuesday after telling Alton St. Anthony's Hospital employees he was going to shoot up the school, the Bethalto Police Department, and himself. Schrader will remain in jail until his first court appearance.
The U.S. Department of Education is investigating St. Louis University for racial discrimination. That announcement coming yesterday when the department announced its investigations into 4 other medical universities. It alleges the school's admission processes violate Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on color and race.
A registration portal that multiple school districts are using to register students has been down for days. KMOX virtual consumer editor Megan Lynch has details.
It's called Skyward. Districts that use it in our region report multiple disruptions and in some cases complete outages over the last week, the key time for student registration. KMOX reached out to the company. Skyward is reassuring families and schools that it's not the result of a cyber attack or security incident. The company says it's updating and migrating to a new hosting environment, and it's taken longer than expected to test the system. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Special School District of St. Louis County ending its use of seclusion and physical restraint of students effective immediately. The Post-Dispatch reporting Superintendent Michael Macklin announced that change Tuesday, 5 months after a federal report accused the district of using both practices routinely instead of as a last resort.
The Justice Department found that over 2 years, SSD put students in seclusion nearly 4,000 times and physically restrained them 777 times, often for minor issues like spilling a teacher's coffee. The feds had threatened legal action if the district didn't reform.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34.
Chris Ranchi and Amy Markscores connect you with the people, places, and conversations that bring our community together.
And now you get to hear about poo-poo in a box from a firefighter.
No, come on.
The hammerhead worm. And you get to hear about car fires.
And sinkholes.
And sinkholes. I love our newsroom. I think they're doing a great job.
From neighborhood happenings to local heroes, from everyday challenges to unforgettable stories. Chris and Amy, weekdays from 9 to noon on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
7:36, your Money Minute is sponsored by UC Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Texas Instruments is getting a boost from the boom in artificial intelligence, but Wall Street was expecting even more. The chip giant gave a sales forecast that topped expectations as demand grows for semiconductors for data centers and cars. However, shares of Texas Instruments taking a hit in the early trade after rallying 70% so far this year. Stocks are falling this morning with investors worried about all the spending that tech companies are doing on artificial intelligence. Google parent Alphabet raising its spending forecast to as much as $205 billion for the year. And Nestle has agreed to sell a 50% stake in its bottled water business to buyout firm Platinum Equity for about $3.4 billion. The business houses brands including Perrier and San Pellegrino. Nestle is selling the water stake as part of a turnaround plan that's aimed at refocusing on core brands. The company in April announced a sale of its Blue Bottle coffee chain. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
More politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here. Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Get inside your Redbirds and the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is 7:40 and time for traffic and weather. Let's see what's happening on the roadways with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's a little more volume, but still, it's not a bad morning commute so far for most folks, Debbie. Northbound 270, a slowdown at Tesson Ferry right through Gravois, both sides there, and then north of 44 up to Manchester. Then it sorts itself out. Eastbound 364, Bennington to 270. Those right lanes are heavy. Eastbound 64, east of Clarkson into 141 is slow. McKnight through Hanley delays. Westbound 64, about Clayton Skinker out to Hanley is heaviest. South 170 ramping on to eastbound 64. The ramp there is backed up. And on the Illinois side, there's more volume. Westbound 64 pockets from 25th Street across the Poplar. Westbound 5570 Black Lane midway into 111 is slow. But then briefly past 111 and eastbound 5570 exchange to 111. You've got roadwork delays. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Well, Joe Lundberg, look at this. We got ourselves a 4:15 ball game at Busch Stadium. What a beautiful afternoon for baseball.
It's going to be very comfortable. It's not going to be hot. There may not be an awful lot of sunshine either. A fair amount of clouds coming in from the west. I'm noting a couple of light showers on radar in the very distant western suburbs, but I think these fall apart. So I think the game goes on without a hitch. And the weather should be very comfortable, our high 81. A lot of clouds tonight, those 66. Those clouds stay with us tomorrow. And eventually we do get some showers in the afternoon. That may keep it, though, at 76. Again, remember, our normal high is 90. Now we'll start to have a reality check on Saturday. After a morning thunderstorm moves out of the picture, it turns partly sunny, a lot more humid, the high 88. And then we jump into the frying pan Sunday and into next week. 94 Sunday. How about 98 with sunshine and some clouds on Monday? Right now, 65 at St. Peter's, 67 in Florissant, 68 degrees, and we'll call it partly sunny downtown at the Arch. A lot of clouds coming in from the west. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43 by a narrow vote, 216 to 214. The House adopted a sweeping budget resolution for a $95 billion package that will provide funding for defense and intelligence, farm aid, and components of Trump's election overhaul efforts, also known as the SAVE Act.
The blueprint allows for up to $73 billion to cover the military conflict with Iran, as the Pentagon warned it's running out of money to conduct operations there. The resolution also includes a long-shot bid to pass components of the Save America Act, alongside $12 billion in disaster aid for farmers. Speaker Mike Johnson celebrated the legislation.
It's a very consequential week for the American people, and we've delivered once again.
Majority Leader John Thune, however, has indicated he doesn't plan to hold a vote on the resolution anytime soon, signaling he might use it to avert a government shutdown in September if Democrats don't agree to fund the government. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Bertha made landfall along the Gulf Coast, and officials say it could have been a lot worse. Still, the storm brought tropical storm force wind gusts around 45 miles per hour and flooding. We get more from ABC's Victor Oquendo in New Orleans.
The entire Gulf Coast saw some impacts, that coastal flooding in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. Louisiana's governor calling it a best-case scenario for the state, but still urging residents to stay prepared as we have a long hurricane season ahead.
We're getting a new look at the safety of those self-driving robo-taxis from Waymo.
A new study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety finds Waymos are involved in nearly 70% fewer crashes compared to human drivers. Researchers noted that Waymos are especially adept at avoiding rear-end crashes, reporting the cars did so at a 91% lower rate than human drivers. The IIHS examined the Google-owned company's operations in San Francisco, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Austin. Waymo says so far it's served more than 20 million autonomous rides. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Researchers noted the study shows the need for more data on this front as autonomous vehicles become more common.
It's 7:45. You know, we criticized this Cardinals bullpen quite a bit over the last week, really for a lot of this season. But let's give some credit when it's due. Riley O'Brien last night got in and out of some trouble. Let's navigate this.
The 1-2 pitch, a sweeper swing and a miss. He struck him out. Really pulled the string on that. 3 strikeouts for Grissom and a good start for Riley O'Brien.
Ricky Horton with the call on KMOX. Riley O'Brien working the 9th inning after J.J. Weatherholt hit a solo home run in the 6th. Would that be enough to hold up as the Cardinals were desperately seeking a win against the Angels in Anaheim? Grissom with the strikeout, but then O'Brien issues a walk and puts the tying run on first. Joe Adell walks. They pinch run with him, Jose Siri, and here's the call.
And there he goes. The pitch is inside and goes back to the screen. As Crooks missed it, it went back to the screen, and that's going to be a pass ball perhaps, maybe a wild pitch, but a runner in scoring position either way.
Okay, this is not great. The next batter is Wade Meckler.
Payoff pitch coming up. Tying run at second base. Here it comes. The 3-2 is taken low. Ball 4. 2 walks in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And the Cardinals again with a 1-0 lead. Here's Oswald Peraza.
Set at the belt and the pitch. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. O'Brien comes up big with the sweeper and strikes out Peraza.
That's one of his best pitches. Riley O'Brien has one more to get, and it's Josh Lowe.
1-2 the count. Low at the plate. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swing and a miss. He struck him out. Riley O'Brien strikes out the side in the 9th inning. Comes up big for the Cardinals. What a game for St. Louis on the pitching side as they pitch a shutout here in Anaheim and win this one 1-0.
Hunter Dobbins with 6 scoreless to start it. 3 relievers finish it. Cardinals get the win 1-0 downstairs to Ali Marmol.
Well, that's more like it. That was exhausting, but ultimately satisfying, I guess.
Yeah, it was. Not a whole lot to that one outside of the solo homer from JJ, but battled. Pitching staff did a really nice job. Dobbins was really good. Did a really nice job of mixing, but also getting to 2 strikes and then getting them to chase, but didn't allow any walks, which was also a big part of that game. But overall, solid.
Yeah, it's great to see your starter attack. That was a big key to the game.
Yeah, even when he got behind, he battled back into counts and was able to get out. So overall, when you don't walk anybody and you make them earn it, it usually goes your way. That was a good one.
Your bullpen is a different composition, but they got it done. Those guys were awesome. Riley, a little hiccup in the ninth with the walks, but at the end of the day, 3 pitchers, 3 terrific scoreless innings.
I agree with you. And with JoJo being out, there's going to be opportunity for different guys to step into that 7th, 8th inning based on where the lane is and show what they're capable of doing. Gasty takes it today, did a really nice job.
And J.J. Weatherholt, 1 run was enough. 15 home runs as a rookie leadoff hitter. That's a franchise record.
That's impressive. And he's just a good hitter. It's not just a one-trick pony where he's trying to hit homers. He sprays it all over, controls the strike zone, but also has the ability to hit doubles and homers. Overall, he's had a phenomenal year.
Now we head home. You've got an 8-game homestand. What does a win do for your club's psyche going back to St. Louis now?
Allows us to enjoy the rest of the day, I'll tell you that. But going back and playing in front of our fans is something I know the entire group is looking forward to. We're at home for a whole week, so that'll be fun.
Sleep fast on the plane. Let's get after it tomorrow.
All right, let's do it.
Chip Carey, we appreciate the interview with Ollie Marmol as the Cardinals get the win. Final score was 1-0, and City won as well in L.A. They won 3-1. They beat the LA Galaxy, and they are now unbeaten in their last 7. Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. I think Innsbruck's undefeated for the last 50-plus years. They have been outstanding in everything that they do. In all of our vacation visits there, we've had a variety of homes we've stayed in. We've had so much fun, whether it's playing golf or, most importantly, I think, living on the lake. You know, you just feel like you're on vacation at Innsbruck, and they have great options for pools. They have 2 of them that I think, in addition to their 100 lakes, provide a lot of relief on a hot day. Although today, whoa, what a day this would be to go fishing at Innsbruck. A fantastic layout of 7,500 acres. You're going to be blown away by Innsbruck, and you can just ask anyone who's stayed there. It is absolutely worth it. They even have beaches throughout the area. I mean, it's just a vacation right here in town. It's under an hour from our house. Innsbruck-resort.com. Now for the parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports betting the way it should be. I was just curious what the Stanley Cup odds are. You know, hockey season's going to be here before you know it. And I was curious who the leaders are right now. The Carolina Hurricanes, your Stanley Cup champions, are the second favorite to win at plus 650. Avalanche plus 745. Lightning plus 800. You know who's the favorite to win the Stanley Cup? The Tkachuk boys. Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, the Florida Panthers, plus 575. Very interesting. I don't think I would go that way. I don't think they can win that. I think it's easy to say on paper. I might lean, even though they've tried and failed multiple times, the Edmonton Oilers are interesting to me at plus 1,200. Anyway, just looking at those NHL odds. Sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:52. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're on northbound 270, Debbie, north of Gravois through 44, we're slow, and north of Big Bend up to Manchester. Southbound, coming down from Ladue to 64, a little busy, even though there's really no longer any work going on there. At least there's nothing of the permanent kind. Eastbound 64, a little slow approaching Clarkson, and then it's heavy McKnight in through Hanley. South 170, a couple of spots coming down from Delmar where it's busy to 64. Westbound 64 bunches up periodically from the Science Center out to about Big Bend. and then you're back on track. Southbound 61 out in Wentzville looks great. The northbound 55 looks like you're good to go. We do have delays on the Illinois side. Westbound 64, 25th Street to the 70 split, and then west of 3rd Street across the Poplar. Eastbound 55, 70 exchange to 111. Westbound, both sides of 111 is slow in that work zone. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As for our weather, we're looking at sunshine mixing with clouds, comfortable high 81, low 66 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of only 76 degrees. Currently, we have sun in downtown St. Louis. It's 66.
The news continues at 7:53. Do you need a new phone? Apple is preparing to change how you pay for its most popular devices. As David Welch reports, the company wants to turn buying a new iPhone into a monthly plan.
Here's the idea. Rather than pay up front, you lease the phone, make monthly payments, then trade up or hand it back at the end. Think of it as a car lease for your iPhone. Apple's calling it Apple Upgrade. Tech analyst Ian Scher says to understand the move, look at where Apple and Android stand.
People have chosen their sides. You're a blue bubble or you're a green bubble.
So Scher says Apple aims to squeeze more from the customers it already has.
We're not going to charge you the full $800 or $1,000 or whatever for your phone. We're going to let you break it up into small interest payments. And, at the end of it, you can own it or not.
Scher says Apple may use that flexibility to set up something bigger, and he points to music and TV subscriptions as a possible tell.
There is the sense that the future is going to be that we don't really need to own these things for extended periods.
In San Francisco, David Welch, KCBS.
The first group of beluga whales has arrived to the Shed Aquarium in Chicago as part of an international relocation effort. Carolina Garibay has this report.
4 beluga whales have found a new home at the Shed, the first of up to 10 belugas the aquarium has committed to providing care for. The whales include 27-year-old Acadia, 26-year-old Osiris, 26-year-old Sierra, and 21-year-old Lillooet. The animals are part of a large pod of 30 belugas living at Marineland of Canada, a closed marine park that can no longer support their ongoing care. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It is 7:55.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, save more on the brands you trust to deliver on the job. Right now, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-volt max dual-bevel compound miter saw. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Save even more on what you need to keep the job moving. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/31 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got slow traffic on North 270, Tom. Right as you approach Gravois, about midway up to 44. It's slow through 44, and then Doherty Fair up to Manchester. The right lanes again around Clayton Road. Eastbound 64, just a brief slowdown at Clarkson Road. Not that bad. East of Lindbergh, though, is pretty consistently slow all the way into about Big Bend. South 170, Brentwood to 64. That's the busiest part on that run. Westbound 64, you've got a backup from the Science Center out through McCausland, and it starts to open up. It's just a little busy in the right lanes west of Big Bend through Hanley. On the Illinois side, you've got slow traffic on westbound 64 from just west of 25th Street up to the 70 split. Again, that 70 west ramp is closed from 64, obviously. Westbound 64, then after that, 3rd Street to the Poplars heavy, and eastbound 5570, 203 into 111 backed up. Westbound 5570, actually not quite as bad, but it is slow from 111 about midway into 203 at this time. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, the 23rd of July. I'm Debbie Monterrey. A new report reveals nearly half of teens in the United States have seen AI-generated sexual material. Megan Lynch speaks with Common Sense Media after the news.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Missouri has a unique connection to Little House on the Prairie. We will learn more next hour.
Maria Kina goes in depth on Missouri Senator Hawley demanding accountability from the U.S. Postmaster.
With the loss of low-cost airlines, scammers are taking advantage of people wanting cheap airfare. The technology expert Burton Kelso will tell us more.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Another comfortable day today. Sunshine mixing with some high clouds. Our high temperature 81.
Nice for a ball game. Remember, it's a 4:15 game today at Busch Stadium.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Attacks and threats in the Middle East. The U.S. carrying out a 12th straight night of strikes on Iran after President Trump threatened to hit bridges and power plants if Iran attacks ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran threatening to respond with an eye for an eye. And in Washington, House lawmakers approving billions to pay for all of it.
On Capitol Hill, the House narrowly adopted a $95 billion budget blueprint, $73 billion of it for the war. As the Pentagon warns it's running out of money. The measure now heads to the Senate, where a vote could wait till fall.
ABC's Karen Hua. The fighting driving oil prices higher. Brent crude, the worldwide standard, nearly $99 a barrel this morning. Search teams looking for people still missing after the flooding in West Virginia. Tropical storm Bertha heading west through the Gulf. It could hit the Texas coast later today. Google has been slapped with $1 billion fine in Europe over antitrust violations. This is ABC News. We're getting a new look at the safety of Waymo robo-taxis. Hey, humans, you might want to perk up your ears at this one.
A new study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety finds Waymos are involved in nearly 70% fewer crashes compared to human drivers. Researchers noted that Waymos are especially adept at avoiding rear-end crashes, reporting the cars did so at a 91% lower rate than human drivers. The IIHS examined the Google-owned company's operations in San Francisco, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Austin. Waymo says so far it's served more than 20 million autonomous rides. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Lawyers for the New York Times go to court this afternoon to fight a series of grand jury subpoenas they allege were an attempt to retaliate against and to intimidate reporters whose work angered President Trump. The legal fight stems from the Times reporting about security concerns related to the new Air Force One donated to the U.S. by the Qataris. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, July 23rd. I'm Megan Lynch. A man from East Alton charged with 3 Class X felonies after threatening to shoot up Bethalto's schools, quote, like Columbine. 35-year-old Mark Schrader charged on Tuesday after telling Alton St. Anthony's Hospital employees he was going to shoot individuals at Bethalto schools, the Bethalto Police Department, and himself. Schrader will remain in jail until his first court appearance. Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of Elijah Gant's trial, the man charged with the second-degree assault of Officer T.J. Brown. Chief Troy Doyle got emotional talking about Officer Brown, whom he hired and has known for a decade. He says his officers that night were trying to protect the public and their free speech rights, even closing the street off for protests. Gant's attorney says his client was running out of fear and did not intentionally run into Officer Brown. Recent statistics from the Illinois State Police show officers recovered 342 stolen or hijacked vehicles between June 2024 and 2026. Let's get more from Jade Aubrey.
The Illinois State Police is continuing to crack down on vehicle thefts, hijackings, and other related violent crimes for the third year in a row. ISP has received money from the Illinois Secretary of State since 2024 for the efforts and was given $630,000 just last year. The agency reports between June of 2024 and June of 2026, officers received 975 forensic assignments that related to stolen or hijacked vehicles in the state. 24 arrests were made for those stolen vehicles and 10 firearms were seized. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Special school district is banning 2 crisis interventions after the feds accused the district of endangering children with disabilities. The Post-Dispatch reports Superintendent Michael Macklin announced they will immediately stop secluding students and holding them down flat on their backs. A Justice Department report in February found SSD used those methods thousands of times over 2 years, frequently for minor misbehavior in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The DOJ had threatened to sue if the district did not change course. A registration portal that multiple school districts in our region use to register students has been down for days. It's called Skyward. Districts report multiple disruptions and in some cases complete outages over the last week. KMOX reached out to the company. In a statement, Skyward says it wants to assure families and schools that there are no cyber attack or security incidents causing the problems. The company says it's making upgrades and the process has taken longer than expected. The U.S. Department of Education investigating St. Louis University for racial discrimination. The announcement came yesterday when the department announced its investigations into 4 other medical universities. It alleges the school's admission process violates Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination based on color and race. For weeks, university city officials told residents that problems with online services were just server issues. Now they are admitting it was a cyber attack. The Post-Dispatch reports the attack impacted all credit and debit card payments to the city for things like parking tickets and trash collection. The city says it did not find evidence that residents' personal information was accessed. 8 new semi-private suites coming to Enterprise Center this September. The studio seats can fit between 6 to 12 people. They're located within the Bommarito Lounge. Vice President of Sales with the St. Louis Blues, Nick Warchak, says the suites are designed to combine the comfort of suites and all-inclusive amenities with a more social atmosphere.
We're taking an old school suite and now we're redefining it with a shared space. I think more and more time people want to be warm and inviting and open their doors. This kind of allows them that ability, but it also plays off a couple of our sold out spaces now that are, in huge demand.
Warchak says 50% of suites have already been sold. Fox Sports says St. Louis ranked 8th in the country for World Cup viewership over the entire tournament ahead of Seattle, Washington, D.C., Denver, and Los Angeles. Kansas City topped the national list with a 4.89 rating and a 20 share, getting a boost from being a host city. St. Louis pulled a 3.45 rating and a 13 share for the full tournament run. Few stories have captured the imagination of generations of readers and television viewers, quite like Little House on the Prairie. As you've likely heard, there's a reimagined series now airing on Netflix, and there's a big Missouri connection.
But it wasn't until she was an adult that she wrote the books. She published the first book, Little House in the Big Woods, in 1932 at the age of 65. She had already been living in Mansfield, Missouri since 1894.
Tana Melton is curator of the Laura Ingalls Wilder Home and Museum in Mansfield, Missouri.
Well, she had been writing for farm magazines successfully, and her daughter Rose was a very successful writer, and she encouraged her mother to write down the stories from her childhood. She thought that they would sell.
Laura Ingalls Wilder's writing wasn't intended for kids at first. Learn more this morning at 8:24 here on KMOX. You can learn more about the roads and the forecast in just 2 minutes here on KMOX. It's 8:08.
They say good things come to those who wait, unless you bite into a Hot Pocket right out of the microwave. Waiting to see a financial advisor about retirement could also bring some pain. The pain of watching your money evaporate in a stock market decline. The pain of trying to figure out Social Security and Medicare on your own. Or the pain of writing huge checks to the IRS that you really didn't have to. At the All Financial Group, they believe the more you know, the better decisions they can make. They offer a complimentary retirement assessment. Find out where you are, how you're doing, and if there's a way to improve your retirement outcome. Don't wait. Call the All Financial Group today, 636-230-8824, or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com and set up your complimentary retirement review.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Fonz, Treasurer.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a serious injury crash, Megan. They just dispatched EMS for westbound 30 at Little Brennan. Sounds like they may be requesting an air medical helicopter, so we'll keep tabs on that. There is at least one lane blocked westbound there, a little bit of a jam eastbound slow, but that is a signal intersection as well. So just be advised of that. If you're on northbound 270, north of Big Bend up through Manchester, that's still slow. Eastbound 64, Clarkson toward Timberlake is heavy, and then approaching McKnight in through Hanley slow. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, the heaviest part. South 170 through Midland, approaching Page is a little off the pace. Eastbound 70 east of the Blanchette through our city. That's a little busy right now as well. And on the Illinois side, we still have some slow traffic. Westbound 64, Baugh up to the 70 split, and then 3rd Street, it's slow to the Poplar. Eastbound 5570, 203 midway into 111 slow, and westbound 5570 backs up, approaching 255 about midway into 111 as well. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A gorgeous day today. Sunshine mixing with some clouds. Our high 81. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, those 66. Tomorrow, plenty of clouds and unusually cool for this time of the year with a couple of showers in the afternoon. The high just 76. On Saturday, a thunderstorm early, then becoming partly sunny. Much warmer, much more humid. The high 88. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have partly cloudy skies, 67 in Florissant, cloudy 66 in St. Peters, and sunshine 68 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A new report reveals almost half of teenagers have already seen AI-generated sexual material. Almost a quarter have seen it depicting themselves or someone they know. Let's find out more. Joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line is Jeff Fowler, Head of Public Engagement for the Youth AI Safety Institute at Common Sense Media. Jeff, welcome to KMOX.
Thanks for having me.
First off, where do these numbers come from?
So our institute conducted a nationally representative survey of American teens. We asked them to report themselves about the kinds of sexual material that they had been exposed to. So if anything, these numbers are probably a little bit low because teens may not want to always report things that they find embarrassing or they think adults might judge them for.
Before we get into some of the other things that the teens told this survey, where are teens viewing this content?
all over the place. That was actually one of the questions that we asked, like, how are you coming across this? And there were some teens who said that they, maybe sought it out, but the vast majority were seeing it in their social media feeds, just presented to them, in group chats. So basically as part of everyday life that they have on their phones.
When it comes to being victimized by this, I think that's the thing that disturbs me the most, that almost a quarter of them have seen it depicting themselves or someone they know. How is that happening?
Yeah, I think you really highlighted to me, I think the most shocking fact out of this. It's not just that teens are seeing AI sexual content, it's that some are making it of their friends, of their exes, of their classmates. It has entered sort of the rhythm of teenage life, which is, all the breakups and the group chats that they have. And that can really have an impact, especially at this age, on how kids are thinking not only about their bodies and about sexuality, but also about things like consent. When we asked kids how they felt about this kind of material, first of all, the vast majority told us they were scared that someone was going to make a deep fake of them. 66 or something about 66% said that. And some had even changed their behavior online, pulled back, shut down accounts just to sort of prevent that from happening. So it really is shaping teenage life.
What do you think about the ethical compass that you're hearing from these kids about AI, nudes, and pornography compared to other real sexual images?
Yeah, so we've got kind of a mixed picture on that. So 82% of the kids that we spoke to said they agreed it should be illegal to make deep fake nudes of someone without their permission. And teens are also right; it is illegal to do that. But here's the thing: nearly a quarter of those teens said that fake nudes were actually less harmful than real pornography because, quote unquote, no one gets hurt. And that's a major misconception that parents need to address. Fake doesn't mean harmless. The humiliation, the fear, and the loss of control are still real. And that's the thing that parents need to talk to their kids about.
Are you seeing any difference between boys and girls when it comes to how they feel about this material?
Yeah, big time. So girls are much more likely to be scared of it being made of them. And also, boys are much more likely to admit having made it. So the overall average was about 8% of kids acknowledged that they personally had made AI-generated sexual material, but it was 11% with boys versus 4% with girls.
Now, I'm wondering if based on this and the fears that you mentioned that so many teens are afraid of being deep-faked without consent, is it changing their activity online?
Yeah, some kids told us they are pulling back on social media, even shutting down accounts. So it has definitely, entered the fabric of everyday childhood.
What do we know about once this material is out there on the internet, on apps, shared by text, for example? How hard is it to pull it back?
I mean, once it's out there, it's out there. And that really gets to one of the nuances here. So are kids making this material just to be mean? Not necessarily. We know from other kinds of issues like sexting that sometimes, kids are doing it because they're exploring. It could be romance even, right, to create one of these images. But things can change when they're taken out of context, right? You have a breakup, someone screenshots something, someone forwards something, all of a sudden it means something totally different and has a big impact on your life. And we're seeing anecdotal reports as well of kids in schools that are really being disrupted by this. In some cases, kids having to sort of withdraw from school and, be homeschooled.
Are you seeing anything that comes close to being effective in tackling this issue from, for example, a regulatory or a legal standpoint?
I mean, there are state and federal laws that make creating some of this kind of material illegal. However, this is still happening. And so one of the things that we say in our report with our Youth AI Safety Institute is that we need the companies, the tech companies that make this technology and help kids share this material, we need them to step up. So for example, the app stores on your iPhone and on an Android phone make these Nudify apps available. And we think we should not make it super easy for any teen with a phone to, have this really kind of powerful form of sexual harassment, in their phone. And in fact, last week, the city of San Francisco sent a legal letter to Apple and to Google asking them to take down those apps because they say it violates state law.
So I'm sure a lot of parents hearing this are probably feeling pretty sick about this. But also, I'm sure a lot of us as parents don't even know how to start a conversation about this, because you certainly don't want to alert your teen to something that they haven't already been exposed to.
Yes. Well, so the truth is your kids probably are already exposed to a lot more than you realize, especially when it comes to AI. They may know a lot more about AI and about this topic in particular than you. That's okay. What you're really trying to do is open the door so that they can feel safe to talk to you about things that are going on in their lives. So I would not recommend opening the conversation with, have you ever made a fake nude? But maybe try something like, what have you heard about kids using AI to make fake pictures of people? And then seeing where that conversation goes. But as that conversation continues, make sure you do make it clear that this kind of stuff could be against the law. So it really is serious business.
Can parents get more advice and guidance anywhere? Are there good resources out there?
Absolutely. You came to the right place. Common Sense Media. We both do the research on this stuff and advocate for the kinds of changes that need to be made to tech products and to policies. We also are here to help parents. We've posted some of our advice already on Instagram. You can also go to the Common Sense Media website and you can find more. We have a whole collection of conversation starters about this that can really help parents get it going.
That is Jeff Fowler, Head of Public Engagement with the Youth AI Safety Institute at Common Sense Media, joining us this morning on KMOX. Thank you so much, Jeff.
You bet.
Still ahead on Total Information AM this hour, Missouri has a unique connection with Laura Ingalls Wilder. She's author of the Little House on the Prairie books, now a reimagined series on Netflix. We're going to learn more about that next. Plus, Maria Kina delves into Missouri Senator Josh Hawley's demanding accountability from the U.S. Postmaster. Wait until you hear what she has. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. 8:20, time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got restrictions on Highway 30, Megan. This traffic reports the service of I-3 broadband. It's a crash westbound 30 at Little Brennan. They said the westbound lanes are blocked. They did cancel the air medical helicopter, so that's a good sign. And they did just get the victim or victims out of the vehicle that were trapped in it as of a few minutes ago. Northbound 270, other than that, you've got slow traffic from Big Bend up to about Clayton Road, eastbound 64. Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake's heavy, and then right at McKnight through the Interbelt, westbound 64, McCausland to Hanley. That's kind of slow. And on the Illinois side, still some slow traffic westbound 64, west of 25th Street to the 70 split, westbound 5570, 255, midway into 111, and eastbound 5570 slow, 203 most of the way to 111. Summer celebrations are here, and i3 Broadband keeps you connected. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a sunny day today, maybe a few clouds, but it'll be a comfortable day, a high of 81 degrees. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 66. And then mostly cloudy tomorrow, a couple of showers in the afternoon, and unusually cool for late July, a high of 76. Right now, we have sunshine, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, Cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Few stories have captured the imaginations of generations of readers and TV viewers quite like Little House on the Prairie. With Netflix developing a new adaptation of Laura Ingalls Wilder's beloved books, interest in Laura's life is growing once again. Missouri has a unique connection to that story through the Laura Ingalls Wilder Home and Museum in Mansfield, where Laura spent the final decades of her life, and that's where she wrote the famous Little House books. Missouri Net's Bill Pollack spoke with museum curator Tana Melton.
For people who may only know about the television show, who was Laura, and why is Missouri such an important part of her story?
Well, Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote the books here in Missouri. A few people know that, but not everybody. The stories are about her childhood and her experience as a pioneer moving all over the West with her family. But it wasn't until she was an adult that she wrote the books. She published the first book, Little House in the Big Woods, in 1932 at the age of 65. She had already been living in Mansfield, Missouri since 1894. So the majority of her life was spent here in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, she lived in several states. Why did Mansfield become her permanent home?
Well, they moved to Mansfield, Missouri because it was being publicized as a good farming community. It was known at the time as the land of the Big Red Apple. They moved here with another family called the Coolies, so they traveled down together.
What inspired her to begin writing the Little House books?
Well, she had been writing for farm magazines successfully, and her daughter Rose was a very successful writer, and she encouraged her mother to write down the stories from her childhood she thought that they would sell. Initially, she wrote them as an adult book called Pioneer Girl, and it wasn't accepted very well, so she rewrote them into a series of children's books.
When visitors come to the museum, what are some of the must-see artifacts or places that really help bring Laura's story to life?
I think the biggest and most important artifact is Pa's fiddle. It is here housed at the museum, and a few times a year they can even hear Pa's fiddle be played. There's lots of artifacts that are written about in the stories, as well as just everything from her life here in Mansfield, including the house. We have 2 historic homes that are in themselves artifacts. And unlike a lot of historic homes, almost everything inside of the house is exactly the way it was when Laura passed away.
The original television series on NBC with Michael Landon and Melissa Gilbert, how closely did that series follow Laura's books, and where did they take some creative liberty?
They took a lot of creative liberty. They very loosely followed the books. They changed the storyline with things like, for example, like Mary in the original series, in the book series, and in actual history, Mary never regained her sight. She never got married. Those are things that happened in the TV series that just simply did not happen.
Now Netflix has introduced Little House on the Prairie to a whole new generation. And in a past generation, I was just talking with my wife, Tana, and she said that this series reminds her a lot of the books. Have you had a chance to watch much of the series, and what's your perception?
I've watched about half of the series so far. I think that it is very well done. It's beautifully shot. It in some ways follows the books a little closer. And in some ways, it's actually a little closer to actual history than the books were. I feel like they did a really good job of representing all of the different stories that are to be told, not just the Wilder's stories or the Ingalls stories.
That's Missouri Net's Bill Pollock and Laura Ingalls Wilder Home and Museum curator Tana Melton. It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Tom Ackerman here. Here's the thing about estate planning, and I hear this a lot, is, I have an estate plan. I think I do. Or we did that years ago, but we've been meaning to look at it again. And honestly, that is the problem. Estate plans should not be one and done. Most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. At Lederman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork. It is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with the changes in your life, your assets, and the law. That is a big reason why we have stayed with Lederman Law Firm all these years. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want an estate plan that actually works, call the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
8:31, time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still have restrictions, Megan. Westbound 30 at Little Brennan. They said those three injured folks all suffered level 1 injuries, which is the most serious. So they didn't need an air medical helicopter, but a pretty serious crash. They're working to clear it right now. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, still a little busy. Eastbound 64, still bogged down through the Chesterfield Parkways and McKnight through to Hanley. Westbound 64, that's a solid jam. Hampton out to about Big Bend. It looks like there was a crash or a stall just west of there. I can't see it right now, but there was a lane blockage. It looks like maybe they cleared on the Illinois side, westbound 64, west of 37th Street up to the 70 splits heavy. Eastbound 5570, 203 most of the way to 111, and westbound 5570 approaching 255 most of the way to 111. Backups due to road work. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty, 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 liberty.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, a sunny day today. We may see a few clouds. It's going to be comfortable, a high of 81. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 66. Right now, we have sunshine, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
When I have written to you, when I have called you, when my residents have called you and asked you, when they're paying their taxes and they're paying these Postal Service marks and increases, I don't want to be told, go online.
Following a contentious hearing with U.S. Postmaster General David Steiner, Missouri's U.S. Senator Josh Hawley will introduce the No Bonuses for Bad Service Act. Senator Hawley says he's written the Postmaster General about a pile of undelivered mail found dumped in a vacant lot in St. Louis. Steiner told lawmakers he knows nothing about it. It would prohibit United States Postal Service leadership from receiving bonuses or additional compensation until mail service and delivery meet higher standards. KMOX's Maria Kina has been following the USPS problems for months.
Senator Hawley asked Postmaster General David Steiner why he is receiving bonuses when Hawley's constituents can't even get their mail.
Senator, I don't control bonuses. Our board of
Will you pledge not to take them?
Pardon me?
Will you pledge not to take them?
Will you pledge to reward our people?
Oh, no. Don't turn it around. You are in charge of the Postal Service, and we have given you everything you've asked for. Just 3 years ago, this Congress allotted tens of billions of dollars to the Postal Service. I'm glad you think it's funny, Postmaster General. You think that this situation is funny. Let the record reflect the Postmaster General is laughing as he gets asked why he's taking bonuses while there's piles of undelivered mail in my state. It's a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace.
Let the record reflect that I was laughing when you said we've been given everything we've asked for.
You have been given an opportunity to deliver the mail, and you're here laughing about it. You are here telling me you don't know, you're unprepared, and let the record reflect you won't pledge not to take bonuses. So you're going to keep on taking them? Is that what you're telling me? Yes or no? Will you refuse bonuses so long as the mail goes undelivered?
Any piece of mail?
Yes or no? Will you refuse bonuses until the mail gets delivered? Yes or no?
What mail?
Oh, this is extraordinary. In other words,
No, it
you
is
don't know.
I
You
agree
want
it's
the money.
extraordinary.
Unbelievable.
I agree it's
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I am absolutely astounded at this today, General. Well, you should be. And frankly, if things don't get better, you ought to resign because you're not doing the job. You're leaving your good postal workers out there. You're hanging them out to dry. They don't make near what you do. They're working their butts off. They're getting blamed, and you're getting the bonus. We got a big problem.
Time is expired.
And based on what I've seen today, you're part of it.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Steiner assumed office a year ago and has received a $170,000 bonus.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Time for your money report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
It took OpenAI's advanced models a matter of hours to breach artificial intelligence startup Hugging Face's internal systems last week. Sources tell us the hack would have taken a skilled human far longer. Experts say a talented hacker would typically need a couple of weeks to complete an attack like this. The ChatGPT maker revealed this week that it breached the systems by mistake. And Harley-Davidson says it expects to sell more motorcycles this year. The company has cut prices, which has attracted more budget-conscious riders to the brand. It also plans to introduce a lower-price model called the Sprint. However, revenue for the quarter missed Wall Street expectations, and that's sending shares lower. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you can all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, But if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You guys know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the do-it-yourself disasters that leave your carpets soaked for days. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet zero resified starting at just $129. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Just ask for the DGS special at ZeroResSTL.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair government.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Another night of American attacks on Iran, the 12th night in a row. The number of confirmed cases of a nasty stomach bug linked to tainted lettuce has now grown to nearly 12,000 across 41 states. And Ebola is spreading too fast to contain in Congo. That's according to healthcare workers trying to treat patients in that African nation. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brand has the latest update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they're working to wrap up that crash, but there's still minor delays westbound 30 at Little Brennan. This traffic reports a service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. It's an earlier rescue crash. They're trying to clear out and open that lane. They had both lanes completely shut down on eastbound 30. Eastbound 64 still backed up coming out of the valley through Clarkson. There's still a backup McKnight through Hanley. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton through Bellevue's bumper to bumper from that earlier incident we had out near Big Bend. South 170, the ramp backed up onto eastbound 64. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, 37th Street to the 70 split now is slow, and we have roadwork delays both directions on 5570 eastbound 203 to 111, and westbound's more of a jam from 255 to 111. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Checking the forecast for today, we're going to have some sunshine mixing with clouds. It's going to be a nice day, a high of 81 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 66. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a couple of showers in the afternoon possible, and a high of 76. Right now, we have sunshine, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. If you have a kid in activities, clubs, and other sports, you know what it's like to fundraise. Well, several years ago, we spoke with the head of a nonprofit that made an international connection between coffee growers in countries like Ethiopia, Peru, and Nicaragua, and students from under-resourced communities right here. Well, that organization has grown and is now sharing its fundraising model with other groups. In studio with me this morning is Sylvester Chisholm, co-founder and director of business strategy for the Show Me the World project. Thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
It's been several years since you got that grant that gave the organization a boost. Give us a little bit of detail about how Show Me the World got started.
How we got started? Wow. On imagine a school swap. So we took students from Vashon High School to Clayton High School, and they saw that there were some opportunities that didn't exist for them. My co-founder, Samantha Laurie, with her big heart, was like, well, you know what? Let's try to figure this out. So we did our first trip to Costa Rica. That was maybe 13 years ago. And we took 10 students. Today, we're serving over 150 students. We literally just returned back from Costa Rica with 30 students from Kansas City Public Schools. And then we also had a group from St. Louis Public Schools in Colombia. They visited Bogota, Medellin, coffee farms in the Andes Mountains. So they really got the full farm to cup coffee experience and learning all those things.
What did students take away from an experience like that exposure to another culture?
Expanding their worldview, understanding that every part of this world belongs to them, that they belong in every part of this world. It's some of our students are the first in the family to travel internationally. We're working with students from Vashon, Gateway, Sodan, University City, Kairos Academy. Like, we're seeing the impact. As soon as they go to college, they're looking for the study abroad program, and then we also see students go into business as well as STEM careers that are all connected to the learning that they have.
So over the decades, or the decade, I guess, 13 years, you said, how many kids do you think you've served?
Over 400. Wow. Yes, over 400 students. And it really is incredible to think that something that started 2012 with 10 students, today, this year, we will serve over 150 students, working the Tower Grove farmers markets, engaging with the community, running our Show Me the Cause platform, helping other organizations fundraise. So it really is a special thing.
Talk about the coffee part of this. Where did that come in, and how much does that fuel what you do?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we use coffee to help increase educational outcomes. So through coffee, students are learning communication skills while they're selling, collaboration, working in teams, critical thinking. And all these things actually point back to the St. Louis jobs reports that shows new hires are coming into companies without these skills. So we're preparing our students for economic upward mobility, preparing them to be the next generation of leaders in our community, all through amazing coffee that's sourced from the best coffee farms around the world. So it really is an amazing thing.
I remember that coffee you brought in last time.
I brought you more.
So did you? Good. Oh, yeah. We run on coffee here for sure. Coming in the morning. When it comes to what the students learn about how this helps coffee growers from those countries, what are they being taught?
All of our coffee, single origin, fair trade. Single origin, you can track it all the way back to the farm, to the farmer. It's important to us that we have a positive impact on our global neighbors, which are the coffee farmers in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, those places. And so we make sure the coffee that we source, it's making sure that it is supporting those communities with fair and living wages, so that those coffee farmers can support and grow their business and support their families.
Now, the coffee sales through Show Me the World have been so successful. You're branching out to Show Me the Cause. You're helping other organizations fundraise through this because we're all kind of tired of cheap chocolates and wrapping paper, right?
You said it. No more frozen pizzas and random items, things like that. Coffee and tea are the second and third most drank beverages in the world. We have a premium offering. It supported us, and we want to help other organizations. So think your daughter's dance team, your son trying to get new uniforms for the baseball team, or to pay for their trip to another city to a tournament. Now, organizations, local sports teams, other schools can use our coffee to fundraise. 50% of those proceeds go directly to their organization, and the other part also supports our mission. So this is seeing a lot of popularity right now in the DECA programs, the FBLA programs that are all business connected, as well as other organizations that need to help fundraise as well.
Now, are students helping with this Show Me the Cause as well?
They're involved in every aspect. So they're involved in shipping and logistics. They learn coffee roasting. They also learn marketing, branding. So they're involved in every aspect. And even when they're abroad, like I said, they actually visit the working coffee farm. So they're seeing the coffee and science connection, the seedling going in the ground, all the way up to here locally, branding, marketing, packaging, e-commerce, and all of those things.
How can people find out more?
Visit showmethecause.com, showmethecause.com. You can sign up there for a fundraiser. We'd love to schedule a demo for your school or your organization.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're awesome. Thanks, Meg.
That is Sylvester Chisholm. He is with Show Me the World Coffee, one of the co-founders, and he is also director of business strategy for that organization. It's now 8:48. Coming up next, a lot of us are wanting to find some low airfare with a lot of the low-cost air carriers going by the wayside. It's getting harder, and that means scammers are trying to get your money. We're going to find out more from the technology expert, Burton Kelso.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his? Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler, Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're seeing continued warnings about scams involving cheap airfare. Let's get details from the technology expert, Burton Kelso, owner of Integral, based in Kansas City. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, but I'm a little concerned to see this uptick in reports of people that are getting duped by airline scams. What are you hearing?
Well, ever since the demise of Spirit Airlines, there really isn't an inexpensive option for people to go to when it comes to airlines. And of course, you have people that are frugal and think that they can just get on the internet and go to any website and find a cheap deal. I mean, they're abound. And of course, there are scammers out there looking to take advantage of the situation.
How do these scams appear to work?
Well, a lot of scams are based on social engineering. So they prey on people's fears and desires of whatever they want. And in this instance, it's the appeal of you're going to be able to fly around the world for $49 or a one-way ticket. And they happen when people Google cheap airlines and fall for malicious websites that criminals have set up with AI. Sometimes criminals set up websites in instances where people's flights have been canceled. And then people will Google to find out what the number of the airline is. And then criminals will take advantage of that too, because they have a bogus website set up that mimics the one of the legitimate airline.
When do people typically find out they've been scammed?
I hate to laugh on that, but obviously when their bank accounts are emptied, because scammers are pretty good. They'll ask for all sorts of personal information. And so thank goodness for financial institutions that can monitor banking accounts and see when there's fraudulent activity going on. Unbeknownst to most users, you do have a pattern when it comes to online purchases and brick and mortar store purchases. And so when a bank sees something that's out of whack, then they definitely will give you a call to let you know that there's been some fraudulent activity.
So I guess it's a good thing if you do have fraud alerts on your cards, and especially it seems like credit cards more than debit cards use that.
Well, it's a combination of which financial institution you're with. So some financial institutions, it works with debit or credit cards. Others, it just works with the credit card. But fraud alerts obviously are a good thing to download to your smartphone to verify that the purchases that are coming through are legitimate. But also, too, most banks now understand that people do fall for scams. So if they see something fishy, they're definitely going to give you a call.
Where do you go otherwise if you do happen to get tricked by one of these scammers on these cheap airfares?
Well, there's really not many places that you can go. You can report to local law enforcement to let them know that this is a current scam, but you can go to the FTC to report scams like that. Also, it is not a bad idea to contact the airline if they're being impersonated. So if it's like a Delta or United or American or even Southwest, then you definitely want to contact them so that they can notify their customers that there is a particular scam going on.
So when it comes to purchasing airline tickets, what are the best places to go, and how do you know you're getting to a real website?
Well, you want to go directly to the airline's website. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they figure that the airlines are already gouging them with high prices. But if you are looking for inexpensive flights and you don't want to go directly with the airline, Google Flights is probably the best place to go to find inexpensive airline tickets. Google Airlines will, if you Google it with the help of Gemini AI, it'll let you know who's got the cheapest airfare. And then with that, you can go directly to the airline's website and get tickets there, because Google Flights isn't its own self-contained website. It's basically looking for information based on the major airlines and what deals that they're offering. So you always want to go with that. You never want to go with seeing cheap tickets with social media, or if there's some deal that just pops up in your email. You never want to go with that. You want to go directly to the source, or you want to go directly to Google Flights.
All right. Thank you for your advice this morning.
Thank you.
That is Burton Kelso, the technology expert, joining us this morning here on KMOX. It's 8:55. Make sure you join us tomorrow for Total Information AM, the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to look at how technology is impacting how we handle our money. A lot of us are using apps and other payment service, but is that really maximizing what we do with our cash, and is it safe? We'll have more on that at 8:10 tomorrow morning. And then also every week on Fridays, we do In Case You Missed It. It's a way to help you catch up on all the week's top local news in case you have missed some of it. Also, Peter Greenberg Worldwide. He is our KMOX travel advisor. You can hear him weekends here on KMOX with his show. He'll join us to tell us the latest travel news. It's now 8:55.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
If you live in a noisy area, masking traffic or sirens with pink noise actually disrupts your sleep structure. A study out of Penn Medicine finds that playing pink noise cuts down the crucial restorative REM sleep by nearly 20 minutes a night. The worst combination, combining background city noise with a sound machine. The experts say if you want to protect your deep sleep, stick to simple foam earplugs. I'm Margie Schaefer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Gloria Liu will get it done. She named her company